Hi, Brian. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good, man.
Been
Good.
working hard, have you?
I have been. I've been hard at it. Zach and I have been working on a new marketing strategy and basically just pouring in a lot of hours to that. But it's going really, really well. So I'm happy about that. As soon as we're done with it, we tweak it a little bit. We're gonna share it to you guys.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Be awesome.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, when you first kind of heard about digital marketing and stuff like that,
Hmm.
what were your thoughts? I'm sure you probably had, I certainly had a bunch of concerns about it, and I just wanted to know if you,
Yeah. I think I mean, the natural one is I thought it was a scam, right?
yeah,
Like, just like there's a lot of scams on the internet, right? And so when I first heard about it, I was like, surely this can't be true. I mean, if this is really a thing, like I would have heard about it by now.
right.
And the reality is there was still something about it though that made me want to investigate further. And I did a lot of research. I mean, I really, really did a lot of research. So, and you probably know this about me, Aaron. Like, I don't know if I've told you before, but like, I'm pretty much the biggest skeptic ever, right? So, after all that research I had done and me being just incredibly skeptical, like I had determined that this is a very real thing. And let me explain. Like, we have this trend of like stores closing down, like physical locations. Like I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee, right? Just a couple months ago, we lost a Toys R Us and H Gregg, right? These have been there for years.
And not small
And
stores.
yeah, so I mean, these are big stores, and like you see this happening like everywhere, and more and more and more and more sales are being done online.
Right.
And the new way to do it, right, is companies used to hire marketing departments, and they'd have to pay salaries and healthcare and all this stuff to a team of marketing people, and they would get results a lot of times.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's happened is these companies have decided that, you know what, it's cheaper for us to have 1099 subcontractors. We'll put our product out there and let affiliates go and market it for us. And that's basically what it boils down to. We're 1099 subcontractors, and we work for other companies promoting their products. And once I got my head wrapped around that whole idea, I realized that like this is a very real thing and it's awesome. And I needed to like learn as much as I could. But that whole process getting there was, I mean, it took me quite a while. Like when I got started in it, I had I started my education I got from AWOL, right? They have a coaching process. And I remember in fact, I actually, I had like two full pages of questions, right? And you're supposed to like have one coaching call. I ended up having four calls that finally got me to the point of where I felt like, okay, I'm ready to move forward with this thing, right? So
Right.
it was quite the transition for me, but I'm ultimately very glad I did it.
Yeah, you know, I heard about it about 5 years ago, and
Hmm.
yeah, I kind of dabbled around with it, made a website, spent a few.
Yep.
There was no training. There was nothing that would show
Right.
what I
Right.
needed to do to get it to really work.
Well, you bring up an interesting point there, Aaron, and I'll say this, like the tools we use. So, I mean, there's several different versions of these tools. I use ClickFunnels, GetResponse, ClickMagick, and my hosting is through Bluehost. Like these companies have made this process and these tools so user friendly that like the average person like me and you, right, can go into this and actually make it work and know what you're doing, right? Like build an effective sales funnel. So even 5 years ago, when what you're talking about, a lot of that stuff didn't exist even
No,
5 years
yeah,
ago.
at least I couldn't find
It
it.
was exponentially harder to get into it then, which is why not as many people did it. And like nowadays, it has never been easier. And here's the other thing that I realized: like this trend of online sales is continuing to rise. Like this industry needs more people with this skill set to prop up this continuing trend.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
I think that I thought that was very interesting when I figured that out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to take up a whole bunch of your time, but you know, is there any kind of sage words of wisdom that you'd like to kind of throw?
Well, I know this is going out to your email list. So, hey, Aaron's list. This is what I would say, guys. Like, Aaron and I both got our education through a company called AWOL Academy. Great. Nothing but great things to say about them. They have pretty much made this entry process and this startup like as pretty painless and risk-free as you can get. And what I mean by that, Aaron, is that like, you know, like Pro Academy, where you start, it's like 20 hours worth of training content that teaches you like how to build sales funnels, you know, how to put how to integrate all the parts, like how to get, you know, your hosting talking to ClickMagic. Or
Right.
I'm sorry, ClickFunnels and all this stuff. So they teach you how to set all this stuff up, you know, and the other thing is they give you 2 weeks to like go in there and start digging around to decide whether it's kind of the thing for you. So they give you a refund after 2 weeks, if you're not happy with it for whatever reason, you get your money back.
Right.
So basically that takes all the risk of the initial investment out. I think it's $99 for a Pro Academy.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
like,
It's a
you know,
joke.
I have a big Ford truck, right? That's what it cost me to fill up my truck with gas.
Yeah.
And so my point is like, if you're thinking about doing it, just if you even think that you might be interested in it, like spend the $99, dig into it. It's only then that you're really going to know whether whether this thing is going to be a good fit for you or not.
Right.
You know, it's not for, you know, it's not for everybody. Like, you know, there's certain people out there that really love it and other people that just don't get into it as much. So you kind of have to decide that for yourself. But, you know, you get to do that in a totally risk-free way without having to spend thousands and thousands of dollars and not knowing what you're getting. Right? So I would say my advice would be, if you're even remotely considering it, go ahead, you know, buy the $99 thing. Spend 13 days evaluating it. On the 14th day, say, you know what, is this working for me or not? You know, and then if it's not, you just you get your money back. No big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Wow. Well, and I really appreciate the time you take. And
no problem, Aaron. Man, you hit me up anytime. Always great to talk to you, bud.
I wish you the best of luck and try not to work hard.
All right, bud. Don't be a stranger.
Thanks. Take care.
Hey, man.
Bye.